Welcome to Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Derek Dennis. Scott Sander is on a well-earned vacation this week. It was my honor to spend time with Scott and the Circle City Broadcast Entertainment team last month at Rally 2025. The Business Equity and Opportunities Rally studio was visited by some of the brightest minds in the business world, from venture capitalists looking to invest to small business owners seeking resources to help them move their business forward. Rally created an environment for innovation and collaborative conversations. And the conversations were amazing. We are excited to share even more of them with you today. From getting started, gaining access to capital, the week in business, accounting and bookkeeping, running your business day to day, industry focus, and success stories, we've got them all. A reminder, you can watch all of the segments from our Sunday shows, past stories, and other resources over on our website, beoshow.com. And now, you can find full episodes from more than 150 episodes on our YouTube channel at The BE&O Show. We post each of the most recent shows there by Tuesday each week, the same day our newsletter comes out. Follow the QR code for information to sign up. It is free. Coming up this week on Business Equity and Opportunities, how IBE Black Business Training Institute is changing lives.
Absolutely do it. You will not regret it. The information that you receive is more valuable than the end prize.
Reach for the stars with Indiana's near space launch. The author of Micro Pivots explains her inspiration. Financial tips for working for nonprofits and businesses. And celebrating Hispanic heritage with the founder of the Indiana Latino Expo. This week, we're getting started with IndyCREW's upcoming Develop, Elevate, and Empower program, their new initiative designed to accelerate careers for women in commercial real estate.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Getting started.
I'm Chelsea Leiter-Thompson. I'm president of IndyCREW this year, our 25th legacy year. I'm also Vice President of Development at Browning Real Estate Partners. IndyCREW is a chapter of the Global Crew Network. There are 86 chapters globally. IndyCREW is 265 members strong, and Crew Network stands for Commercial Real Estate Women. We exist as a nonprofit mission-based organization to support women in commercial real estate, to educate, support, and provide more opportunities for networking and business growth to women in the CRE market. IndyCREW has been a chapter for 25 years. We actually just had our 25th anniversary celebration gala last Thursday. And CREW as a global organization has existed even earlier into the 90s and beyond. So 25 years ago, our founders were seeing a disparity amongst not having women, not only not in the C-suite positions, but not in a litany of markets and roles and varying leadership levels. They saw an opportunity to help catalyze supporting women. Even today, we're seeing only 35% of people in commercial real estate being represented as women. So we see that there are so often where women are finding themselves in these rooms where we are the only people in the room or there's no women in the rooms. So CREW exists as a platform and an organization to help foster, educate, support, and get more women in the rooms, at the tables, and having more of those opportunities. We are very blessed in Indianapolis. We have so many wonderful communities with really incredible progressive leaders. You see all of these different communities making nationwide ranking lists, best place to live, best place to work, best place to raise a family. That's not done on accident. That's done with really thoughtful planning that is all impacting our commercial real estate markets. It just creates nothing but a really wonderful ecosystem to help foster more real estate opportunities for those of us in commercial real estate, developers, bankers, attorneys, architects, engineers. Indiana is very special to be able to have so many of these wonderful communities that help spur on great commercial developments. We try to have a lot of benefits for our members. Being part of a global organization, anyone that becomes a member with IndyCREW immediately also has access to the global organization and all of the 144,000 women globally. But locally, we also strive to have wonderful content, monthly luncheons, access to not only the global directory, but the local directory. We have member events, we have opportunities every month to network, share business. We say regularly, choose CREW. And I think that that's something that really makes the Indy chapter special and unique, is anytime there is an opportunity and someone is looking for someone, hopefully and oftentimes there's a CREW member present to be able to say, I know someone, and choose CREW and plug somebody in and bring them in. So for our members, benefits would be immediate access to a really wonderful organization that is eager to provide networking opportunities, education opportunities, and access to a larger organization for support.
I'm Kellie Seabrooks. I am the Vice President of Strategic Innovation and Customer Engagement here at RJE. I am also on the board for IndyCREW and President-elect for 2026. I've had a long journey with IndyCREW so far, about 8-9 years. And for me, it was about finding women that can support other women in business. And not only just from the professional side, but it's sharing best practices, and I need a babysitter, or, on the personal side as well. So we've been working really hard to think outside the box, not only for our chapter, but also for the global CREW. And we developed DEEP, which is Develop, Engage, and Elevate program. So for us, this is an opportunity to support women really under 3 pillars of success. When we think about young professional development, there's definitely a gap. And when we look at generations and education, and how do we make sure that we continue developing the next generation to come? Also DE&I, being a woman in business, diversity, having diverse perspectives is needed. It's also about elevating women where they are at in their careers. So a lot of times we have to fake it until we make it. And so this gives us an opportunity to provide education, continuous growth. When you think about concepts or ideas of how do I be on a board? What's expected of me to be on a board? Thinking about leadership, what are the traits and the qualities of being a great leader? Some of those you really have to have day-to-day experience, and some of those can happen in your job. We want to give women the opportunity through our organization, through subject matter experts, to learn, evolve, and grow to be the best versions of themselves. I always tell new members, it's one of those organizations that each year for me, I really evaluate what I can give and what I need to receive. And I look at the different opportunities throughout the organization that allow me to fill my cup and also fill up someone else's cup and provide value back. Because a lot of this is service. For me, I've ingrained in my DNA is serving the community, serving other women. And so I really look to say, what can I give? Am I the right fit at the right time? That's really where DEEP, I feel like, is playing a big part in our chapter. It's the thing that is going to fill gaps for us right now. And so I always tell young professionals or women, you're gonna have to put time in, so evaluate what you want to get and really define what success looks like for you, and then put that into the chapter as well. Yeah, so this is the first program, not only for our chapter here locally, but we also want to expand it beyond this. I would call it a little bit of a pilot project as we're looking at the opportunities to say, how can we engage with our members? How can we learn, evolve, and grow? Because right now we have a format and a roadmap for our chapter, and we know that that may not fit everyone's market. So for our chapter, this is really a strategic initiative that's going to drive young professional development. It's going to engage our members and fill gaps that we have. We have grown from 100 members over the last 10 years to 260 plus. And so, as you can imagine, there's information that needs to be shared within our chapter, and there's also information that we need to get out and want to provide at a zero cost to our members. And so that can come in different forms. Some of that is a certification program. That's what we have going on right now. We're leveraging third-party experts, so subject matter experts, and some of those are within our chapter and our members. They are the best at what they do, and why not leverage those resources in a different way?
IndyCREW is the Indianapolis chapter of the Global Crew Business Network. For more information on how you can be a part of the DEEP program and more, follow the QR code for all the information. Up next, meet two of the entrepreneurs we met at the Circle City Classic Entrepreneur Day. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. The IBE Black Business Training Institute provides education, opportunities, and helps build relationships between Central Indiana businesses. We met two of the recent graduates last month.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to capital.
My name is Martin Turmon, and I'm the owner of Making It Together LLC, a healthy catering company. We take the soul food and comfort food recipes that we grew up on and actually tweak those and retweak those to make those comfortable and more healthy for us now. I'm coming down here because I'm one of the growth grant recipients for the BBTI program. Oh, it's been amazing things. Like, it's literally changed the trajectory of my company. We've gone from just doing mom and pop sort of venues to now being at the Taste of Indy. We've done contracts with the Marion County Health Department. We worked with Ivy Tech Community College. So it's actually sort of set me on a whole new path forward for my company. We started our company back in 2020, March of 2020, and we actually got connected back in the spring. We were part of the spring cohort. I really wanted to expand my business. I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could, and I wanted to be with an organization that actually was centered around my development and my growth. It's been life-changing because in order to be around an environment with other people who are just like you, entrepreneurs who are hungry and wanting to have all the information they possibly can, it makes you feel hungry yourself. It reinvigorates your fire. It makes you focus on what actually you need to do and what you really want to learn and grow in.
My name is Teisha Belson, and I'm the owner of Unlimited Credentialing. Unlimited Credentialing is a company that helps individuals start, or if they're already started, keep them compliant with medical transportation, home care. We do a variety of enrollments with DCS as well as specific Medicaid and Medicare entities. So I previously used to work in medical transportation, previously used to work for the state for contract and compliance. I saw what the entities were lacking on educating providers on being successful in their enrollments, so that's what made me start the business. That aha moment came when working with the state, and I was like, I see the need. I see the need for individuals to actually be educated with this. This group has been absolutely amazing. When I say that I've learned so much, I already had a lot of knowledge under my belt when I started, but this just took me to a whole nother level. It helped me build the company. Our company is in 18 different states. We have expanded so much with the BBTI cohort. So we actually created a Growth Alliance support group after we graduated from the BBTI cohort. We talk every day in our chat. We get together, we do monthly meetings, we hold each other accountable for everything that we're doing in our businesses. We help each other stay accountable. I would advise them to do it. Absolutely do it. You will not regret it. The information that you receive is more valuable than the end prize. I have notes that I'm still going through from our cohort, and we ended in July, that I haven't even been able to utilize in my business as of yet, but I know that I will. I can. A lot of the clients that I come encounter with are very grateful. They're grateful for my business. They're grateful for my knowledge and expertise in helping them navigate. The key thing is being able to actually have someone that knows how to navigate, can navigate accurately, and set them up for success. And that's what my clients are most grateful for. That's what I experience all the time. They want to build partnerships with me once I set them up for success. They want it to go, 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 and it's like, I understand you want it to go, but when you go fast, you miss steps. So my thing is accuracy. I'd much rather provide you the accuracy and the proper steps to make sure that you are set up for success. Another thing that I do for my clients is everybody doesn't need a specific service. Sometimes they just need one-on-one coaching. So I have workbooks for my clients with the one-on-one coaching. We've developed workbooks and it's specific to that client. So every client doesn't get the same workbook. It's set up for you to go back and reflect on, so that way it can help you through your business journey. I always set my clients up with the mindset of, you're starting this business, but there's always ways to expand. You want to get the foundation of the initial business that you're starting, and then once you've learned that and you've succeeded at that, then you want to learn how to expand and navigate a different way. There's always other avenues in your business that you can definitely expand in and have more than one payer source. So I have unlimited credentialing. I also have Ravishing Hearts, that is my home care, and then my lab will soon open in 30 days.
Find out how you can be a part of the next Black Business Training Institute cohort coming up in January. Just follow that QR code. Coming up, how a recent rally attendee is using the skills she learned with her education Innovation 360 degree.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Cassandrea Williams, CEO of Educational Innovation 360 degree, shares her Rally 2025 experience.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
So I help teachers get better faster. So typically it takes a teacher 3 years to go from novice to highly effective, but we found a way to do it in a year. So I'm excited, right? So we do video coaching and supports, little checkpoints throughout the year that help them grow and learn. And what we've noticed is when teachers get the support they need, that's not judgmental, they actually thrive. And we've been able to see it on their test scores. So we check reading assessments to see if teachers are improving in reading strategies in the classroom and effectiveness.
So without a service like yours, does a teacher just kind of improve through the school of hard knocks and experience?
Gosh, yes! And so teachers cry by themselves, they close the door, and they are struggling in silence, to be really honest. And you go to school and you're like, I did this, I went to school for this, but then the reality is, wow, I need help. Not only help on how to navigate school and the cliques and the teacher cliques and the mentorship, and then how to be friends with the person that's evaluating you, right? And so you don't want to tell the principal that, yeah, I'm not good at my job, I need a little help. And so we are kind of that safe space to allow teachers to kind of vent, cry, and like, hey, you're doing a good job, keep going, here's some strategies, watch this mini video, and then, go in your classroom.
Who's your customer? Is it the teacher? Is it the school system? How's that work?
Right, so my customer is K-12 principals, right? Because what happened is we tried to do it for teachers, but teachers, they already have professional development, and so they're already inundated with training and support. But with principals, there's a deeper value and say, hey, I know my teachers need help, and I know my teachers need support. So the principal buys the product and to help their teachers.
And have you had good traction with that yet?
Yes. So we had a school in Gary, very great traction. And one of the things she said was, I cannot talk to my teachers like you do, right? You are more of a support, you're a cheerleader, you're a friend, and they heavily rely on you for support.
But you also can probably speak pretty frankly to them too.
Yes. And I said, hey, you didn't see that child in the back that, you kind of lost, from the video. So with timestamps on the video, they rewatch the video, rewatch on how they can get better. And of course, there's a celebration at the end. We try to go to the school 4 times as checkpoints, say, hey, this is what we're seeing on all the videos. We all need this professional development on this strategy.
Tell me about your connections with InnoPower.
So InnoPower, we had this AI training. And so the AI training have done, it just makes me think of, how can I do this better, faster? And so we did this weekly training on AI and how to make it work. And so now I'm like, okay, how can AI work in my systems? One, I'm thinking we use AI for rubrics. So we have our rubric, but AI can automatically generate the standard from which the teacher needs the support that we have expressed on the video, right? And another thing that's why I'm here, trying to figure out, one of the things I do is give mini modules to teachers who are struggling. So instead of me giving mini modules with soft skills, I can guarantee somebody in this life can do that, right? How can we prescribe these mini modules? If I say teacher needs classroom management, automatically you can prescribe these 3 classes and put them on the track, and eventually we can figure out what are the 4 tracks that new teachers need to be successful, and so that could be automated. And the last thing, hopefully I can find somebody that does this, is thinking about, I lose a lot of people that come to my website. So what I want to figure out is, if somebody comes to my website, what is the back-end data that I need to have? I don't know if this is legal or illegal, but I'm going to figure this out today, to where it says, hey, it looks like you were looking at something on my website. How can we best support you? Because when teachers or principals are looking for something, they tend to look for multiple times, and I'm trying to figure out, how do I get them to say.
Well, it's got to exist, because how many times have you gotten a text saying,
Right!
I saw you looking at those
Oh my
shoes?
God, right! So I know it's out here. But so hopefully I can figure out how to infuse AI, and I've taught a couple of classes on AI for teachers, on how they can use on lesson plans, and for principals on how they can use on newsletters. And then I know we can use our LLMs, right, our learning language models, for our automated systems that we use for businesses. But so yeah, very excited.
How important do you think it was to come here with some specific goals? Because I do see some people who are excited, but they're adrift.
Right. So there's a couple of sessions that I've marked off, and a couple of people that I have got to see, but really thinking about, I need to meet them before the end, because I want to have my answers resolved, and I know I'm going to have my answers resolved in these couple of sessions that I'm going to. So I am here, I am excited, but I am also very strategic in finding those people by the end of the day.
Coming up, Business, Equity, and Opportunities travels to Anderson to find out how an Indiana federal credit union works with nonprofits to help them find success.
This Week in Business is made possible by Indy Biz Pass. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Good accounting and bookkeeping practices are not only necessary for small businesses, but for nonprofits as well, and for most there is a direct connection. Business, Equity, and Opportunities visited with CFO John Upshaw and President and CEO Miguel Patterson of Lamco Financial Credit Union. They discuss how they help prepare nonprofits and small businesses for banking services.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Accounting and bookkeeping.
Hi, I'm Miguel Patterson. I am the CEO of Lamco Federal Credit Union. Sure, when I first moved back from New York City, I worked for my church as finance chair. And I quickly figured out, oh wow, banks, credit unions really don't understand local nonprofits. So that was really important to me because now you're talking about plate offerings of revenue that comes from grants or other sources that are not necessarily all the time recurring. So it's important to me to really look at those businesses and say, how can we help? How can we help you with deposits? How can we help you with normal financial services? Because financial literacy sometimes is a little bit lacking in those areas. I also found that when I was in the industry, working at various places, that I was still ingrained in the communities. And so I was always doing nonprofit work. We did a toy giveaway. And I said, wow, it'd be really great if I was able to get into a credit union where we could really focus on the things that they're doing really well at the credit union to help the members, help those nonprofits, and help small businesses. Sure, it's a level of sophistication. So there's a lot more requirements on the back end. So let's say board of directors. Most of the time, some of these nonprofits have board of directors that say, hey, I'm just doing this as a volunteer. What I'm finding is that a lot of nonprofits need more sophistication at the board level and at the executive level because there's a lot more requirements as far as paperwork, grant documentation, loan documentation, and things of that nature. Oh yes, I think that's a big deal. I think you're starting to see more sophisticated, educated individuals try to help out those nonprofits as the level of funding and needs rise, right? In our economy right now, things are changing. where there's more people that need more services, more things provided by those nonprofits and, quite frankly, small businesses. Some of the larger corporations have left some of our towns, okay? So they've left Madison County, Marion County, Hamilton County, Hancock County. And so really it's the small business and the nonprofits that are supporting the effort to keep those local communities around and surviving. So our employees, I've always been a very servant leader. So your employees see what you do and how you act. We've started a volunteering committee. We've started more things about getting out in the communities. We've started activities where we have a Customer Appreciation Day here in Madison County. We do that by leading first and leading by example. So what we do is we try to give to the local businesses, and then that prompts a banner. And I even call local credit unions locally and say, hey, here's a cause that we see. Would you all mind giving together so that we can actually have a bigger impact on that specific cause? We're all one community. So as we work together, as credit unions work together, so with small banks, even community banks, small businesses, and nonprofits, then our communities will be able to survive and thrive.
My name is John Upshaw. I'm CFO here, and essentially I make sure that we're financially strong and make sure that our members are happy and taken care of. So from our not-for-profit perspective, we like to take two roads. We like to get them involved with our community and make sure that we're sponsoring them and helping them out to be successful in their missions. We also want to make sure they're financially sound. So bringing them in as members and helping them with their deposits, as well as their members and bringing in members' deposits from their organizations, we like to help them do both. The biggest difference that I've seen between them are really just how they go about doing the business that they are trying to achieve. A not-for-profit might be engaged with a lot of individuals who are needing help, where a small business is trying to help people from a different perspective. And they both work immense hours, and they both have a lot of talent involved, where a small business might be a one-man shop, and a not-for-profit, even though it's still small, might have thousands of volunteers helping them. So the ability for that small business to exist is a challenge. And in the economy right now, the for-profit entities are having a lot of challenges, where those not-for-profits, they're able to gather the resources that are around the community and really get that volunteerism growing and at a faster speed than some of those small businesses are. Yes, especially with not-for-profits and small businesses and medium-sized businesses as well. What we do, we look at their unique challenges. As I mentioned, volunteerism and tracking those volunteer numbers. They put in a lot of hours, so they don't want to be worried about, are their funds safe, what's going on their bank account, when they have to come into the branch, what are the branch hours. So what we are able to do is utilize our digital platform to make sure they have the answers and everything right at their fingertips. And that's also for the small business world. So even though the differences between those two based on employment numbers and what's going on in the economy, banking is the same for both. To that certain extent. So we're able to help them bank where they want to bank. Absolutely. We have something here called the LAMPCO Volunteer Crew. And what they do is go out into the local community and make sure that they are giving those man hours and making sure they are helping out in the community. So we select various not-for-profits that are in town here and in the areas that we serve. And we give our hours to those individuals. So they can use their work time or they can go out on Saturdays, and as a group, they help to give to those not-for-profits. Well, I would have to say the ability to help people. And that's really one thing that I'm very adamant about, is making sure that everything that I do has an impact on the bottom line, but also on the communities where we're in. And really just getting up every day knowing that I'm doing something good for the communities that we serve, that is really why I get up every day and I'm happy to come to work.
Coming up, we reach for the stars and beyond with Near Space Launch, an Indiana company making space accessible to more businesses.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Near Space Launch, located in Upland, Indiana, is creating innovative ways to help businesses access space.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. running your business day to day.
My name is Alex Reno, and I work for Near Space Education.
So Near Space Education, you're I guess, educating people on how to get to space.
We are. We're able to take our tech from Near Space Launch, who's been around for about 11 years and got 100 satellites into orbit, and we're able to use that technology to inspire, equip, and impact everybody kindergarten through the university level.
Good. So how are you doing that? Are you going in and talking to schools, or?
We do it in a couple of different ways. One, we just moved into our new building, which is a 7,000 square foot maker space in Upland, Indiana. And that allows us to have field trips and other groups come to our facility, but also through some of our programming. We're just finishing up phase 1 of our Dream Big program, where we partnered up with a bunch of the universities in the area. We had Notre Dame, Valparaiso, Taylor University, Purdue Fort Wayne, Western Michigan, and Toledo University. And they each built out a payload that went into our Dream Big satellite here. And they did that over one school year. Then they came in and got that integrated into the satellite, and it'll be launched on a SpaceX Transporter 16 mission this coming February.
And so through that device, they're able to, I guess, collect data?
Yeah, they were able to figure out what problem they wanted. One of the universities was talking about satellite positioning, because when the satellite gets released into orbit, it goes into a tumble. So they can use magnets and different things called an ADAX system that will allow it to position itself to where the solar panels are always facing the sun. So one of them built their own version of an ADAX and tried that in there. Other universities did other things and experiments. One of the other fun things we did with that program, though, was each university that did it also did 3 high-altitude balloon programs at local middle schools and after-school programs. And that's where we use our balloon systems that go 80 to 100,000 feet up in the sky. So that's 3 times as high as your normal commercial airliner flies. It's to the top 1% of the atmosphere. The skies are black. It's a really cool view from our cameras when the balloons are up there. But they would go out to the middle schools and try to inspire some more kids. So we weren't just affecting the college kids getting to work on these systems. We were able to reach out and try to get some middle schoolers excited about STEM and space.
Is space sort of the next frontier for business, do you think?
I think it is in a lot of ways. I mean, space is huge. Space is for everybody, and we're trying to show that by making space accessible to a lot of different companies and a lot of different kids.
And so, in terms of a small business owner who may be looking to, partner with you to, get into space, how do they go about it?
If it's a business, it would be through our for-profit company. That'd be with Near Space Launch. So the best way for them would be to reach out to Near Space Launch. It's nearspacelaunch.com, or nsl@nearspacelaunch.com would be the best way to reach out for them.
Is it hard to get into space and do business in space?
It's definitely a learning curve. There's a lot of different things you have to go through, a lot of technicalities and legalities. And then obviously getting your system built, getting it integrated, getting it through the testing process. And then with that, then you have to find your launch provider and get it on a rocket and get it shot up. So one of the things that we don't do is we obviously don't do any of the launching from here in Indiana. We use a couple different groups. We've actually had some satellites deployed off of the International Space Station. We've, like I said, with the project we're doing here, it'll be going off a SpaceX transporter mission that'll launch probably either in California or Florida. It is, my path here was very interesting. I do not have a STEM or space background. My background's more in retail and business management. So I came in as operations director for Near Space Education. I'm lucky enough to work with some amazing engineers, some amazing teachers, and some very, very smart people who are able to come up with these ideas and help implement this program.
Were you into space at all?
I always thought space was cool, just like most people do, but it was not my career path for a long time. My career path actually started, I was a prison guard for a while. I worked in the emergency room for quite a while. So it was definitely a shift for me, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot along this way.
So for somebody like you, I guess the key is to be open.
Yeah, I'm always open to any conversation, figuring out where it'll go, and always wanting to learn more about just about everything.
If you want to know more about Near Space Launch, we'll have all the information on our website. Up next, a special conversation with the author of a new look at how little life changes, micro pivots, can actually lead to success.
Running your business day to day is made possible by Indy Chamber.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. One of Indiana's award-winning leaders, Anushree M. Bogg, shares insight on her new book, Micro Pivots. It's 101 stories of leadership that will help you uncover how small changes can make all the difference in your road to success.
This is business. This is business, equity, and opportunities. Industry Focus.
Hi, I'm Anushree Bogg. I am an IT professional. Actually, I've been in various areas of IT, all the way from transformation, large transformation initiatives, to cybersecurity, to project management and program management, to organization and change management. I've been in Indiana from December of 1998. My new friend and neighbor, Andrea Libros, has a wonderful book, She Thinks Big. One of our common friends connected us, and we met about our books, and it was just good seeing two people in the same community have similar passions. And then she made a posting on LinkedIn about her book and how we had met, and my book. And so I guess you heard about that or saw that posting and reached out to Andrea, and so then I heard about you, and so we connected. So here we are, a power of networking, power of connections. You meet one person and there's oftentimes a ripple effect, right? Expanding your network and finding like-minded people. Sure, the book is based on one fundamental philosophy, that leadership is often about influence. A lot of people think it's just about authority. You have to have that big title, you have to have that corner office, otherwise you're not a leader. That's not true. I have watched some amazing people in my community, for example, or in my childhood, in my family, who never had formal titles, but the way they led, the way they interacted with people, the way they influenced, how they uplifted people, those to me are fundamental principles of leadership. And I wanted to sort of almost acknowledge that and chronicle that. And I also felt that every lesson that I have retained, I've learned the most from, comes from an example. So sometimes leadership books can be pretty dry. It's talking about all these philosophies and you're not sure how to apply them. My book, Micro Pivots, has 101 micro stories. Each has a very similar format. It talks about some time in a childhood or earlier in life where either this person has a direct experience in their own family or in their school, or through or in their community, or they've watched someone go through an experience and they've learned something, and how they apply that in their adult life. Oftentimes we are almost there where we want to be, but a little change in our behavior can get us to our desired state. That's what the principle of a pivot is. A pivot is making that small shift, that small change, to make that adjustment to get to the future state that you would like. So many times people will want that or wait for their whole lives for this big title or this big opportunity, and when they get that, like, let me get on that spaceship and then I'll understand. What follows oftentimes is it can work out very well. People can live up to that or grow to that role, but sometimes that takes time, and then you hear these words, fake it till you make it, right? And as you're trying to get adjusted in that new role, that you're not fully prepared for it, and you have just sat on that spaceship thinking, I'm going to figure it out. Sometimes you have that feeling that I'm not up to the mark. Am I fitting in with everyone else? That's one way why people feel imposter syndrome until they actually get to that full potential. Absolutely, they should. Absolutely. I feel that people are just so sort of mindful about getting that business up and running, up and growing, that where is the time to think about the people skills? But for a company that will have a future for a very long time, you have to dedicate that time to develop your people. I think developing a high performance team is key to the long-term success of any business. And it's not just the what, but the how. There are two ways to grow a business. You could just go chasing all these metrics and growing, and I'm sure businesses will see short-term success for that. But for long-term success, if people are just not motivated, or they're deadbeat and they're so tired and exhausted or not developed, I strongly believe in you have to, lift as you grow. If you don't do that and you don't have a team around you, then long-term success may be challenging. It is, I'm very clear about what gets me excited. First of all, I love my roles in the nonprofit world. I have the privilege of being the board president of Ronald McDonald House, and every time I stand in line to serve dinner and meet with one of the families, it is very clear what life is about, right? Gives a different perspective. I see a young family traveling from the southern end of the state to the northern end of the state, and staying there for months because their child is in harm's way almost, but they're getting treated at one of the children's hospitals. Most of the time, Riley Children's Hospital is where Ronald McDonald House is affiliated with, and they have an organ transplant, or they've been burnt and recovering from that, or they have a stem cell transplant or some kind of a oncology treatment going on. It's months that they stay there, and what little that family has to deal with, it feels like some higher power put me there to serve that community. So I absolutely come back energized from that. I also serve on the board of directors of Indiana University Health Metro Region. That is also, I feel, it's a privilege and honor. It's a great gift given to me by my family has been consumers of IU Health. My 2 children, who are my universe. Like most parents, our children are the center of our universe. Both were Riley kids, so it's the ultimate privilege and honor of my life to serve on that board because they take care of so many kids who are not as lucky as my children. So that is very energizing for me. From when I do my consulting work, I think learning end-to-end about what problem we're trying to solve is the first step. I don't like to jump into solutions, like to understand what the problem is, and then look at all the pieces and who are the people working on it, and approach it from a problem-solving mindset.
When we come back, we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with the founder of Indiana Latino Expo. Stay with us.
Celebrating Hispanic Heritage is brought to you by McDonald's and Indiana Latino Expo.
Welcome back. Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated from September 15th through October 15th, and Wish TV is taking this opportunity to present a variety of stories and features that recognize the contributions of Indiana's Hispanic and Latino communities. Today, we meet the founder of the Indianapolis Latino Expo, a longtime community leader, former CEO of the award-winning Garcia Construction Group, and developer of a mentoring program for aspiring entrepreneurs. Today, our success story focuses on Charlie Garcia.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
My name is Charles Garcia, go by Charlie Garcia. I'm the president and CEO of CGA, a construction company, real estate development, and I've been here since 1987. So my beginnings really started, I was recruited out of San Francisco, California on a job, like a lot of people, transients that had come through Indianapolis, and I found it a great city to start. And I worked for a wonderful man, John Gaylor Electric, and I came here and grew a division for him. Fortunately, unfortunately, I outgrew his company, and then from there transferred into my own company. And when I went into the community, I found that there was a lack or disparity of women and minority businesses. And so that led me onto a journey of establishing a process, programs, developing all people of color and women. But then I really focused on my culture and my people, which are the Latino population. So from that, I started programs myself, because there weren't any. We had the Urban League, and we had great leaders, great African-American leaders. But the community primarily was focused on African-Americans, rightfully so, and of course the Caucasian population, majority population. But there was no room in that, and I don't mean that detrimentally, but there was no room for the Latino community. So my mission, my ministry, my whatever, was to press hard on establishing a pathway for the Latino communities, right? So with that, I looked at what are the sectors. You know, we had, of course, our business sector. we had the social sector, we had the healthcare sector. So each one of those sectors, I devised in my spare time a methodology to really bring my people forward. Indianapolis, right, wrong, or different, was a one-horse town. They had one African American. I was supposed to be the one Latino. They had the one Asian, and others were pretty much intentionally or unintentionally locked out. So I refused to do that. And I started growing young Latinos. And today we have presidents of banks, president of an airport. We have presidents, of course, within Eli Lilly at the highest level, and other Latinos that have forged paths with me to develop a consistent and very logical, strategic growth for our young Latinos. So now we have 4, like with ILE, we have the Nexus program, that's what it's called, I think, Nexus. And so we developed that for the high school, college students. I started the ILI's leadership program, so they graduate into that program. So really develop an ecosystem of talent. So that's why the stimulus behind building these pathways for young Latinos to grow and develop and identify the key talent within our community, to structure them, to give them support, to nurture them, to provide them the tools to navigate a society that's oftentimes was not meant for our cultures, so sometimes contrary to our cultures. So, but learning how to navigate within this society gives them a leg up. So how can they progress and be the stars?
If you would like to know more about any of the segments in today's show, just follow the QR code to our website. We thank you for spending this hour with us. Scott will be back next week, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity to contribute over the next few weeks. You know, I love this show, and you can catch me weekdays on News 8 at 5:30 and 6:30, as well as the 10 p.m. news right here on Wish TV and on wishtv.com. Join us next week for more business, equity, and opportunities. Until then, I'm Derek Dennis. Have a great day.
Business, Equity, and Opportunities is made possible by Bose McKinney & Evans, Eskenazi Health, Indy Biz Pass, Indy Chamber, and Lilly, a medicine company.